Police make 44 arrests after PSG versus Arsenal as person left in critical condition. Chaos erupted on the streets of Paris following Paris Saint-Germain's Champions League victory over Arsenal, with police confirming 44 arrests and multiple injuries, including one person left in critical condition after a car rammed into a group of fans. The incident took place late Tuesday night, shortly after PSG sealed their place in the Champions League final with a 3-1 aggregate win over Arsenal. Celebrations quickly turned to panic on Rue Christophe Colomb, near the Parc des Princes Stadium, when a vehicle plowed into a crowd of jubilant supporters. According to eyewitnesses, the car sped into the group without warning, striking at least 3 individuals before being set alight by an enraged mob. Emergency services rushed to the scene, where one victim was immediately transported to a nearby hospital in critical condition, while 2 others sustained serious but non-life-threatening injuries. French authorities are currently investigating the motive behind the attack and whether it was accidental or deliberate. Widespread disorder had already been reported in various parts of the city earlier in the evening. Riot police were deployed in heavy numbers as tensions flared between supporters and law enforcement. Tear gas was used in several locations to disperse unruly crowds, while fireworks and flares were reportedly thrown at officers. Vehicles were vandalized, shop windows smashed, and bins set on fire, adding to the chaotic scenes that marred what was meant to be a night of celebration. In total, 44 people were arrested for offenses ranging from assaulting officers to causing public disorder. Local officials confirmed that most of the arrests were linked to hooliganism and violations of public safety protocols. The highly anticipated clash between PSG and Arsenal had already drawn intense attention on and off the pitch. With both clubs vying for a place in the Champions League final, tensions were high, and security forces had been placed on high alert. PSG emerged victorious with a 3-1 aggregate win, prompting thousands of fans to pour into the streets of Paris to celebrate what many saw as the culmination of years of investment and ambition by the French champions. However, celebrations soon turned violent. In one of the most disturbing incidents of the evening, a car reportedly plowed into a group of supporters gathered on Rue Christophe Colomb near the Parc des Princes Stadium. Witnesses described the scene as one of panic and confusion, with the vehicle accelerating toward the crowd without warning. Screams echoed through the street as fans scattered, some attempting to help those who had been struck, while others pursued the fleeing driver. Shortly afterward, the car was found abandoned and ablaze, set on fire by an enraged group of supporters. Emergency medical teams were dispatched to the scene, where 3 people were found injured. One of them was rushed to a local hospital in critical condition, sparking widespread outrage and concern across social media and footballing circles. French police have launched an urgent investigation to determine the driver's identity and motive. Initial reports suggest the incident may have been intentional, though authorities are not yet ruling out other possibilities. Surveillance footage is being reviewed and witnesses are being questioned as officials seek to piece together the events that led to the violent attack. Beyond the car incident, Paris experienced widespread disorder throughout the night. Riot police were deployed in large numbers to areas known for passionate PSG supporters, including Auteuil and the Boulogne districts. Despite proactive measures, including the deployment of over 2,000 police officers and gendarmes, clashes broke out between rival fan groups, and law enforcement struggled to maintain order as crowds swelled and tempers flared. Tear gas was used in several locations to disperse aggressive crowds. Flares, glass bottles, and fireworks were hurled at police, who responded with baton charges and further use of non-lethal crowd control measures. Ahead of the match, authorities had already issued warnings to traveling Arsenal fans to exercise caution, particularly advising them to avoid the Auteuil district, a known hotspot for PSG ultras. Despite heightened police presence, including 2,000 additional officers and gendarmes, the city still saw significant unrest. The French Ministry of the Interior has pledged a full investigation into both the car incident and the wider violence that engulfed parts of Paris. Security plans are now being reviewed ahead of the Champions League final on May 31st, where PSG will face Inter Milan in Munich, as concerns grow over escalating football-related violence in France. But amid the joy, an undercurrent of aggression was building, one that would soon explode into violence. Just after midnight, on Rue Christophe Colomb, a normally quiet road not far from the stadium, a car was seen driving at high speed toward a cluster of PSG fans. Witnesses say there was no indication that the driver was attempting to stop or slow down. The car collided directly with a group of supporters, injuring 3 people, including one individual who remains in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. The other 2 sustained broken bones and head trauma. As emergency services rushed to the scene, shocked bystanders began attacking the vehicle. It was overturned, smashed, and set on fire by enraged onlookers before police could intervene. Videos circulating on social media show the burning wreckage surrounded by chanting angry fans, some visibly injured, others weeping. Police have confirmed that the driver fled the scene and remains at large. Investigators are treating the incident as potentially deliberate, though no motive has been confirmed. Security camera footage and phone videos from the scene are being analyzed for leads. Wider violence across the city. The car attack was just one of multiple flashpoints across Paris that night. In total, 44 individuals were arrested, many affiliated with known ultra groups, for a range of offenses including assault, vandalism, arson, resisting arrest, and possession of illegal flares and fireworks. In the Auteuil and Boulogne districts, both known strongholds of PSG ultras, running battles broke out between rival fan groups and police. Tear gas and water cannons were deployed after supporters hurled glass bottles, metal barriers, and even scooters at police lines. Public transport hubs were overwhelmed as terrified civilians and tourists attempted to flee the unfolding violence. Several storefronts were smashed, particularly near Place Victor Hugo, and cars were set alight along Avenue Foch. Cleanup crews worked until morning to remove debris, extinguish fires, and restore some semblance of order to the battered city streets. Police unions have since spoken out, warning that the current strategy for handling major football nights in the capital is unsustainable. "We were outnumbered and unprepared for this level of coordinated unrest," one officer told Le Parisien. "It wasn't just celebration, it was a powder keg waiting to explode." Arsenal fans caught in the crossfire. Many Arsenal supporters who had traveled to Paris for the crucial match also found themselves targeted. Despite warnings issued by the UK Foreign Office and Arsenal Football Club to avoid high-risk areas, some fans were caught up in the violence, chased by groups of PSG ultras and pelted with bottles and fireworks. The British Embassy in Paris confirmed that it is in contact with local authorities and assisting several UK citizens affected by the violence. One British fan was hospitalized with a suspected broken jaw after being attacked near the Trocadero. A grim pattern emerging. This latest incident adds to a troubling pattern of football-related violence that has gripped France in recent years. From crowd trouble during domestic League One fixtures to clashes at international tournaments, the situation appears to be worsening, despite increased policing and stadium bans for known troublemakers. Earlier this season, multiple League One matches were interrupted by pitch invasions and supporter brawls. In Marseille, riot police had to intervene after projectiles were thrown at opposition players. In Lyon, flares rained down from the stands, causing several injuries. Football authorities in France and across Europe have come under fire for not doing enough to combat these rising tensions. Many critics argue that reactive policing is no longer enough, that a cultural and structural shift is needed to protect fans, families, and players from what has become an increasingly hostile matchday environment. Political response and UEFA scrutiny. French Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin and Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo have both condemned the violence and pledged to hold those responsible accountable. "This is not who we are as a city," Hidalgo said in a statement. "We will ensure justice is served and we will restore safety to our streets." Meanwhile, UEFA has requested a full report from French authorities regarding both the car incident and the wider violence. With the Champions League final fast approaching, where PSG will meet Inter Milan in Munich on May 31st, concerns are mounting about the safety of fans at the final venue. German authorities have already begun preparations for an enhanced security protocol in the city, coordinating with UEFA and international law enforcement agencies to prevent similar scenes from unfolding in Bavaria.